Imagine your pepper plants overflowing with so many fruits, you won't know what to do with them all. That's the power of one small tweak to a technique you're probably already using. Get ready to transform your pepper garden and discover the secret to truly maximizing your yields. After years of following conventional wisdom, gardeners everywhere are discovering that the traditional approach to topping pepper plants might actually be sabotaging their harvest potential. Are you topping your peppers wrong? Most gardeners are. For decades, the standard advice has been to pinch out the central growing tip of young pepper plants when they reach about 6 to 8 inches tall. This traditional method involves removing the main stem's terminal bud to encourage lateral branching, creating what appears to be a bushier, more robust plant. The theory sounds logical. More branches should equal more flowering sites, which should translate to more peppers. This conventional wisdom has been passed down through generations of gardeners, reinforced by the immediate visual results. Within days of topping, you'll see new shoots emerging from the leaf axils below the cut, creating that coveted bushy appearance that makes gardeners feel they've achieved something significant. The plant looks fuller, more structured, and seemingly more productive. However, this approach comes with a critical assumption that bigger and bushier automatically means better yields. Many gardeners continue this practice because they see the initial burst of growth and assume it's working in their favor. The perceived benefits seem obvious. More stems create more potential flowering sites, the plant appears more stable and wind-resistant, and there's a psychological satisfaction in actively shaping your plants rather than letting them grow naturally. Here's where traditional topping reveals its fatal flaw. It prioritizes plant architecture over actual fruit production, causing you to sacrifice early yields for the sake of appearance. When you remove that central growing tip, you're essentially telling the plant to pause its natural reproductive drive and instead focus energy on vegetative growth. This energy diversion costs you precious weeks of potential fruit development during the most productive part of your growing season. The science behind this is straightforward but often overlooked. Pepper plants are naturally programmed to grow vertically first, establishing their main framework before branching out. When you interrupt this process through early topping, you force the plant to redirect its resources from flower and fruit development into creating new vegetative growth. This delay can cost you 2 to 3 weeks of prime fruiting time, which in shorter growing seasons can mean the difference between a modest harvest and an abundant one. Research and side-by-side garden trials consistently show that topped plants, while appearing more robust, actually produce fewer peppers during the critical early to mid-season period when weather conditions are optimal and plants have peak energy reserves. The topped plants spend their initial vigor creating branches rather than flowers, meaning their first fruits don't appear until well after their non-topped counterparts are already setting their second flush of peppers. This becomes even more problematic when you consider that pepper plants have a finite growing season. In most climates, you have a specific window where conditions are ideal for pepper production. Every day you delay that first fruit set is a day you're potentially losing at the end of the season when temperatures start to cool and daylight hours decrease. The traditional topping method essentially shortens your effective harvest window while creating the illusion of a more productive plant. For determinate varieties and shorter season peppers like most bell peppers and many hot pepper types, the optimal strategy is often no topping at all during the early growth phase. Allow these plants to establish their central leader and begin flowering naturally. The main stem will continue growing vertically while simultaneously developing lateral branches on its own, creating a natural Christmas tree shape that maximizes both vertical growing space and fruit production sites. When you do need to intervene, timing becomes crucial. Wait until your plants are at least 12 to 15 inches tall and have already begun setting their first flowers or small fruits. At this stage, you can perform what's called selective pinching, removing only the very tip of the main stem once it has established several strong lateral branches and confirmed fruit set. This approach gives you the benefits of controlled height while preserving the plant's natural fruit production timeline. The key difference is recognizing that pepper plants don't need your help to branch. They'll do it naturally once they've established their primary structure. Your job is to support this natural process rather than forcing it prematurely. For indeterminate varieties that tend to grow very tall, you might choose to top them later in the season, but only after they've completed their initial fruit set and proven their productive capacity. Once your pepper plants have established their fruiting pattern, and you've secured that crucial early harvest, advanced pruning techniques become your secret weapon for maintaining continuous production throughout the season. This is where the real art of pepper cultivation reveals itself, moving beyond simple topping to sophisticated plant management that keeps your harvest flowing from midsummer through the first frost. Late-season pruning focuses on optimizing light penetration and air circulation rather than forcing artificial branching. Begin by removing any leaves and small branches in the lower third of the plant that aren't contributing to fruit production. These lower leaves often become disease magnets and energy drains as the season progresses. This selective defoliation redirects the plant's energy to upper branches where new flowers and fruits are forming. Sucker removal becomes particularly important as your plants mature and begin carrying heavy fruit loads. Look for small shoots emerging from leaf axils, especially in the lower portions of the plant. While you don't want to remove all suckers, eliminating those that are poorly positioned or competing with main fruiting branches helps concentrate the plant's energy where it matters most. The goal is to maintain an open plant structure that allows air to circulate freely while supporting maximum fruit development. Supporting heavy branches becomes critical as your improved yields create weight challenges the plant wasn't naturally designed to handle. Use soft ties or small stakes to support branches heavy with fruit, preventing breakage that could damage the plant and interrupt your continuous harvest. This support system also allows you to position branches for optimal light exposure, ensuring even ripening and continued flower production on terminal growth points. The transformation from traditional topping to strategic plant management represents a fundamental shift in how we approach pepper cultivation. Instead of imposing arbitrary pruning schedules based on plant height alone, successful gardeners now focus on working with their plants' natural growth patterns while making targeted interventions that support maximum fruit production. The evidence is clear. Plants managed using minimal early intervention combined with strategic late-season pruning consistently outperform traditionally topped plants by 30 to 50% in total fruit production. This isn't just about getting more peppers, it's about getting them when you want them, extending your harvest season, and maximizing the productivity of every plant in your garden. Your success with this approach depends on understanding that every variety and growing situation is slightly different. Hot peppers often respond differently than sweet peppers. Determinate varieties have different needs than indeterminates, and your local climate will influence the optimal timing for any interventions. Start by trying this method on a few plants this season while maintaining some traditionally topped plants for comparison. Complement your improved topping technique with consistent feeding using a balanced fertilizer that supports both vegetative growth and fruit development. Maintain steady soil moisture to prevent blossom end rot and fruit cracking, and choose varieties suited to your growing season length to maximize the benefits of extended harvest periods. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more game-changing techniques that will transform your vegetable garden, and share this video with fellow gardeners who are ready to maximize their pepper harvests. Your garden's potential is waiting to be unlocked. It just takes the courage to question conventional wisdom and try something new. Start implementing these techniques in your next growing season and prepare to be amazed by what your pepper plants can really produce when you give them the chance to reach their full potential.